Last year, Eve sat behind me at the Smith Center. I always gave her a high five on the way out if we won. On her last night with us, we beat the daylights out of Florida State. It was senior night. On the way out, I gave her a high five, and she grabbed my hand and shook it. Because for Eve, if it was senior night and we whipped the Seminoles, a simple high five just wasn't enough. It needed more love. There was always more love in Eve, especially love for Carolina. The 500-word email she sent me in 2004 was a commercial for our university. She hadn't even been to school here yet. But our traditions of public service and access never met a better friend. She never quit pushing us to do more for our world and for each other. Eve inspired her family, her fellow students, her professors, administrators, and the trustees she worked with as student body president to work harder. Her enthusiasm, originality, and persistence made her an unforgettable person. The best way to remember Eve is to accept her challenge to serve others. We're going to hear from a few people who have done that this past year. After that, the Cliffhangers will perform, and we will have a moment of silence, and the bell tower will play Hark the Sound. I'd now like to introduce Winston Crisp, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, who will introduce some special remembrances that were recorded for today.
Good afternoon. As we've traveled together through this past year, we've been reminded that so often where there is tragedy, bright rays of hope also exist. And we have watched our community come back together and rededicate itself to service and following the Carolina way. Many of the projects that Eve championed and wanted to see happen have begun or even been completed, and many other projects have been created to help us all find ways for the Carolina community to heal. What follows is a short audio presentation describing some of these projects and how Eve's legacy of commitment and service has impacted the people involved. Now, these are audio recordings, and we recorded them because rather than having you focused on a speaker at the podium, our hope is that you will focus not on the individual, but on each other and on the thoughts of our community and the wonderful spirit that Eve has left with us. You're going to hear the voices of Elinor Benami, Howell Brown, Emir Sandhu, Sallie Wallace, and John Brodeur in that order.
The way I've changed my life after having known Eve, having met Eve, and having known of her passing, it's encouraged me to think a lot more about the impact of my actions and knowing that what we do lives after us, long after us, and that the good that we do in this world can have effects on people whom we never even have a chance to meet. Two of my friends approached me because all of us were really profoundly affected by Eve's death. We were really struck by how her dedication to the Carolina Way kept coming up in discussions of her life and in her attitude towards the university. We kind of took that definition that she had, talking about how the best definition of the Carolina Way she's ever heard is study hard, work hard, play hard, do your best in everything, and stay strong to the finish, stuff like that, and just kind of like uniting the whole entire campus behind our university and just making everyone aware of how incredibly lucky we are to be a part of this university. Our purpose with Students for the Carolina Way was to establish an organization that would unite all the Carolina students together behind one philanthropic cause, and Eve was such a uniting force on our campus. So Eve is our cause that we're uniting behind now, and we're raising money for the Eve Carson Memorial Fund
2 years ago, Eve invited me to work with her on the junior year scholarship, and we had gotten pretty far with the development of the scholarship. And after she passed away, we decided to dedicate the scholarship to her. So this past year, Andy Woods and myself have been working to give away the first Eve Carson scholarship. And so that has entailed fundraising, writing applications, reading applications, all sorts of events like that. And so proud to say about 3 weeks ago we named our first Eve Carson scholar. So I guess that is what I've tangibly done to memorialize Eve, other than thinking of her and keeping her in my mind. And I think in a lot of ways she influences some of my actions too.
Well, I started working on the 5K this fall, and that was just incredible. And through that, I learned, well, I knew her story, but it was just incredible. And I guess knowing about that really made me appreciate the small things in our small time on this earth and want to make the best of that. So that's what I tried to do through working on the 5K. Is really, I know that she used all the resources on this campus and tried to love everyone and everything here. And so I tried to do the same when I put my efforts into doing the 5K. I mean, it was just a huge, huge tribute to her, how many people came out to that event. We had over 2,100 people register, and even 1,100 came out on race day, which was just incredible because the weather forecast was so horrible. And then that morning the sun came out and it was incredible, like nearly 70 degrees that morning. And it was in late November. So it was just an amazing, very, I don't know, awe-inspiring day. And it was an amazing thing to be a part of. Incredible. I felt like she was kind of with us the whole way. So I think she would have been proud to see everyone come together. I couldn't have been more impressed with our campus and our community as that morning.
In her name, and as the director of the Carolina Leadership Development Office, which oversees the North Carolina Fellows Program, that group specifically has planted a tree in the Arboretum, and we're in the process now of laying a stone next to that tree that explains her involvement and her impact on the members of her specific NC Fellows class. But I think in a more universal sense, that gesture is the result of the impact that Eve had on us personally. And as a group, she was an extremely valued member of that program. And we looked at it as an opportunity to, in the symbolism of a tree, pay tribute to a life that touched us for the time that we knew her.
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? And can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm going to Carolina in my mind. Karen, she's a silver sun, you best walk her away and watch her shining. Watch her watch the morning come. A silver tear appearing now, I'm crying, and I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. She whispers something soft and kind. Hey babe, the sky's on fire, I'm dying, and I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? And can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Dark and silent last night, I might have heard the highway calling, geese in flight and dogs that bite. Signs that might be omens say, I'm going, gone to Carolina in my mind. With a holy host of others standing around me. Still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it seems like it goes on like this forever. You must forgive me if I'm not going to Carolina in my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't you just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm going to Carolina in my mind. Yes, I'm going to Carolina in my mind. Yes, I'm going to Carolina in my mind. I'm gone, yes, I'm gone. Won't you say nice things about me when I'm gone? Won't you carry on without me, yes, I'm gone.
Thank you all for coming today. I think everyone will leave here hearing Eve's call to service and our call to serve each other. I'd like to have a moment of silence, and then the bell tower will play Hark the Sound.